Dear Dr. Sinclair, dear fellow panelists, dear friends, good afternoon. And since I know that time is of the essence, I will start my presentation straight away. Sharing my screen and going full screen. Okay, so my presentation is entitled Cultivating the Sea and Leaving the Land Alone, Historical Flows of Civilizational Currents in Emerging Seas. This is the structure of the presentation. I will begin by introducing myself very briefly. Then I will explain why the secret of humanity's success lies in our blue mind and in our ability to go on the sea. Thirdly, I will introduce the concept of oceans of charm, and I will speak about historical examples of thalassocracies. Then I will introduce oceans as geopolitical spaces, and I will elaborate on thalassocratic and neo-mercantilistic meta-narratives, especially in the Indo-Pacific. Subsequently, I will explain why we live in an ocean-dependent world and why it's going to be the case even more so in the future. And finally, I will expound I will illustrate the emergent blue infinity loop, and I will try to, conclude on announcing the coming blue civilization. Well, I'm originally from Italy, from the province of Venice. I've been living in and working in 3 continents, Europe, Oceania, and Asia. I'm currently a senior research fellow at the Ocean Policy Research Institute of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation here in Tokyo. I also have the honor of serving as ambassador extraordinary plenipotentiary, non-resident of the Sovereign Order of Malta, which is not the Republic of Malta, to the Republic of Nauru. As for my scholarly background, I studied at the University of Milan, and then I moved to Australia, where I continued my studies at the University of Tasmania, and I earned my PhD in political science at Tankang University in Taipei. I published on a diverse array of topics, most recently on thalassopolitics and climate security of the oceans. The book I hold in the photo is my last publication in Japanese, but the English version is coming. And also I often serve as commentator for international media and as a public speaker. As I said, I'm from a sea town near Venice. So I grew up by the sea. And as a scholar and as a diplomat, I have a special relationship with the Pacific Islands region. I will not read from my slides, but except for one, because this slide includes 4 quotes that encapsulate collectively my presentation. I will start with a quote from Ambrose Bierce: "Ocean, a body of water occupying 2/3 of a world made for man, who has no guilt." Secondly, I'd like to quote from Raffaino Caresini, a Venetian chancellor of the 14th century, that, condensed the thalassocratic ideology of Venice in the famous formula, "Cultivate the sea and leave the land to itself." Thirdly, a quote from Sir Walter Raleigh, who there's no need of introduction: "He that commands the sea commands the trade, and he that commands the trade of the world who is the lord of the trade of the world is the lord of the wealth of the world." And finally, Dostoevsky: "For all is like an ocean, all flows and connects, touch it in one place, and it echoes at the other end of the world." Well, we live in a world that is covered by a percentage of 71% by the oceans. And so no wonder that as humans, we have blue minds, and we we're able to succeed as a species thanks to our ability to seafare. Philosophy and science actually tell us that humans are naturally drawn to the sea. As humans, we have a strong emotional, behavioral, psychological, physical connection with bodies of water. The ocean affects every human life in many ways. And well, since it is a philosophy conference, I like to quote from Plato: "The sea cures all ailments of man." So, according to a neuroscientist at the University of North London, well, we have minds that are literally blue because our brain was able to develop thanks to a kind of omega-3 fat-rich diet that we start following when we left the forest and start living by the water. And well, as the ancient Romans used to say, navigare necesses is essential to navigate. In fact, thanks to our ability to navigate, we're able to stage the greatest biological invasion of all time and colonize and populate the world. Much of humanity's success is actually due to rafting. We are not the only rafting species. Other, mammals or reptiles were able to colonize islands or perform island hopping thanks to rafting. So the ocean shouldn't be seen as a barrier, but as a liquid highway. It should be seen as a sea of islands, and along which we can move. It's a highway, liquid highway, with bridges of winds and streams that we can sail along, following the stars and along routes that are marked by islands and ports. Oceans are vectors of charm, and there's a wonderful book on the Indian Ocean as a place of charm by an Indian author, Sanjeev Sanyal. And well, oceans again are spaces where human migration, trade, war, civilizational encounter, technological progress, religious preaching, and conveyance of ideologies happened over history and is still happening. Well, so no wonders there are ideologies, political models and ideologies that are sea-centric, ocean-centric, like thalassocracy. Thalassocracy is a sea-centric geopolitical and geoeconomic model. It features a maritime empire, a nation that exhibits naval supremacy, leading to its domination over the seas through exploration, trade, and invasion. Quickly, two examples of thalassocracies: the Srivijaya Empire, which was a Malay Buddhist thalassocratic empire in insular Southeast Asia, and well, the Republic of Venice, which lasted for more than a millennia and was probably the quintessential thalassocratic empire, at least of the Middle Ages and Renaissance period in the Mediterranean Sea. So much was so close and so important was Venice's relationship with the sea that it also had not only a thalassocratic ideology, cultivate the sea and leave the land alone, but also a thalassocratic liturgy, the famous marriage to the sea that was performed with grand fanfare once a year, and in which the Duke of Venice, the Doge, symbolically married the sea, as they said, as a sign of Venice's perpetual domination of the sea. And the hierogamy was sealed by, launching a ring in the water. In the modern age, the ocean came actually to be seen understood in terms of naval supremacy and mercantilist theories. like Alfred Thayer Mahan, American strategist of the 19th and 20th centuries, used to say, control of the sea by maritime commerce and naval supremacy means predominant influence in the world, and is the chief among the merely material elements from which of power and prosperities of nations. Mahan based his vision on mercantilist theories defining a trinity of commerce, colonies, and bases. And indeed, in the 20th and 21st century, ocean is conceived as an array of geopolitical, geoeconomic, and geostrategic spaces. An example of that, very telling one, is the 5 maritime zones identified in the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, in which the ocean is seen as, and also sovereignty on the ocean is seen as a continuation of sovereignty and rights on land. So the land dimension dominates the sea dimension. And well, another example of the ocean as a geostrategic space is the Three Island Chains, initially a Chinese conceptualization that has been reinterpreted by the West in terms of containment. So expansion for China in terms of naval supremacy, and containment from the point of view of the West, always in terms of now naval supremacy. Particularly the Indo-Pacific is seen as an ocean-centric region characterized by naval supremacy and mercantilist competitions. And doctrines are being conceptualized and meta-narrative span to guide the maritime expansion of nations and civilizational blocks, and present it as benign, free and open Indo-Pacific, 21st century Maritime Silk Road, integrated maritime policy, etc. Also, recently we're seeing the emergence of mechanisms and pacts to control the sea that are eminently thalassocratic. The AUKUS, Trilateral Pact, and the Quad are very prominent examples of that. Yet the global ocean is much more. We live in an ocean-dependent world. 80% of the volume of international trade in goods is carried by sea. Fish is the primary source of animal protein for half of the world population. Global seaborne trade is rising. 63% of oil is transported by sea. And also 97 of all intercontinental electronic communications are conducted via the commercial undersea cable communication. The commercial undersea cable network. We live in the Anthropocene, the epoch of man. So oceans are facing tremendous disruption for human action, from altered sea temperature to overfishing, to ocean surface acidification, to microplastic pollution. Yet the ocean is the key to our survival and our future. The world is gearing up to grow even more reliant on the ocean for food, energy provision, and material resources. So we must learn to use marine resources responsibly and equitably and sustainably. But so far, political action towards an healthy ocean has been lacking. So we must find, in summation, in a nutshell, we must find a way to switch from bad Anthropocene to good Anthropocene, especially when it comes to the oceans. So humanity, in other words, must learn to manage the ocean holistically as a system. And we must become, using a concept created by novelist Frank Herbert in Dunes, planetologists. See the planet and the ocean as a system, not as a area that can be divided in sectors of domination and hegemony. So blue economy is the economically operational model to manage the ocean holistically. I like to provide a definition. It's not mine, it's by Pierre Rousseau. A blue economy comprises all economic activities related to the oceans and the islands, the coasts. It covers a wide range of interlinked, established, and emerging sectors, and most importantly, integrates fully the need to address the environmental ecological sustainability of the ocean. Also, we can expect humanity to start colonizing the oceans in the near future. So we can expect humanity, or part of it, to start living on artificial island structures or permanent floating settlements. This is not utopia, and I'll explain why in a few seconds. Civilization is actually being reimagined as a civilization that also has floating cities. We just have to think that this, we are pushed toward inhabiting the oceans by the fact that 90% of the world's cities will be exposed to rising seas by 2050, and floating architecture could offer the solution. In fact, last month, the city of Busan in Korea, the United Nations and Oceanics, which is a company specialized in building floating structures, set to build the world's first sustainable floating city that are part of our arsenal of climate change adaptation strategies. So this is just a visualization of the solution provided by floating structures or floating communities. Then in the near future, we'll need to grow more food, but land will become a scarce commodity. So we have to look at the sea. A solution lying the 3D ocean farming, offshore fish farming, etc. Well, when it comes to offshore farming, this is a photo taken in 2017. So China delivering an ocean farming structure to Norway in the port of Qingdao, but also underwater farming is an emerging reality. This is an underwater farm that exists off the coast of Italy in Noli, and they're doing very well, even though they're still at this experimental phase. And then ocean will also provide power in the form of wind energy, floating solar panels, wave energy. Also, the ocean will be used to generate renewable hydrogen. And then we'll also look at the sea for mineral resources that are badly needed to fuel the fourth industrial revolution and afford the switch to a green tech paradigm. So the sea, the ocean floor contains minerals that can be mined, and that's usually strategic minerals for the IT industry, of automotive industry, etc., etc. There are substantial environmental risks. So the debate is still open about the opportunity and the visibility of deep sea mining. But I believe that fatally we'll have to go to mine the seafloor if you want to support the kind of technological economic transition that is envisioned. So I will say that we should look at future utilization of the ocean with a sober mind, but also we should not demagoguery lead the debate. So this is why I included these slides to say that we should leave demagogues. Neo-Gnostics, Gnostics believe that, you know, the material universe was bad. It's also humanity was bad. Of course, the fossil fuel lobbyists, preachy billionaires that preach a very, well, would like to see humanity condemned to a life of poverty and restriction. And well, on a humoristic note, also cockroach gourmet, they will say humanity in order to survive should feed on bugs only, while the ocean can offer valid alternatives. And well, we also being ushered into a new paradigm in which a blue infinity loop will emerge, a blue infinity loop era in which multilateral maritime governance will be an imperative, also geographically with the rising temperatures of the ocean and the, well, you know, the thawing of the Arctic. New maritime routes will be available and open all over the year. And so there will be drastic sudden changes in the natural environment, but also the security landscapes that will create two rims, the Eurasia Blue Belt and the Pacific Rim, that will merge into the so-called blue infinity loop, in which problems occurring in an area of the world oceans will extend past the borders of the individual seas and will reverberate to other bodies of water in other regions of the global ocean. So a new transoceanic paradigm is coalescent and will emerge in the coming decades. And the result will be into a circulatory and, sorry, cannot see this. Okay, now I can. And superfluid oceanscape in which a sense of collective destiny will emerge and usher us into a new transoceanic, pan-oceanic, if you like, paradigm. So, in conclusion, let us cultivate the sea. Let us build a beautiful blue civilization. I wanted to conclude with a quote, not from a famous philosopher, but from what we can call pop culture. But it's very optimistic, and it also offers us a note of encouragement. It is the nature of humankind to push itself towards the horizon. We test our limits, we face our fears, we rise to the challenge and become something greater than ourselves, a civilization, in this case, a blue civilization. The blue civilization is coming. It's up to us to determine or contribute to creating the modes and the outcomes of such blue civilization. Thank you very much for your attention. 皆さん、ありがとうございました。